Just a few words about this whole initiative, Regal Nest. Uh, I think it's a wonderful initiative. We always had some kind of peer coaching happening in a informal, unstructured way. I would say the group was always there, but this is a much more structured approach because you can come together, you can be in a full session, you can count it as an hour, and you can also get mentored. You can also record, by the way, in case you want to have the session recorded and for your submission. So a lot of possibilities. So it becomes quite useful in the way to come here and do that practice. Yeah. So good to see a lot of you I have met already. Some of you are a little new, so hopefully we'll meet maybe in future in some of the sessions. So we are talking about core competency 5 out of the set of 8 competencies which ICF prescribes. And CC5, the title of the competency is maintains presence. That's a very interesting heading itself. When you think about presence, and the very first thought which I recall, which came to my mind, was a classroom. A teacher would do a roll call, and whoever was present would raise their hand and say present. So you could respond only if you are present, right? And that's a beautiful metaphor, because you cannot respond if you're not present, really. Yeah. And that kind of sets the tone for what presence really means, that you have to be there fully. Yeah. And another connotation of the word maintains, if you look about it, it kind of points at some kind of, when we see maintenance as an activity, it's some kind of balance, some kind of level which we try to keep. And so for me, maintains also means a bit of steadiness. Now, the interesting thing here is that, we are not looking at coaches to be perfect. Therefore, this becomes a thing which remains as it is. There can be ups and downs, but maintaining means actively bringing it back to that steadiness. And that's the beauty of it, because we are none of us is perfect. And there's going to be, times when that presence is going to be a little bit disturbed because of various things happening. The key here is, are we able to maintain it? So are we resilient enough to quickly recover and come back to that steady and that balanced state, right? And then the word presence. So, presence has two different, kind of, uh, I have two different thoughts about presence here. One is us being present as a coach. So when we talk about, we being there fully. And the second part is, what are we being present to? So if you think about it, there are two different meanings here. So I am present fully in the sense that I am bringing myself, but I'm also present to what is going on. Right? What's going on with the client, what's going on within me, what is going on between us in that whole space. So in a sense, presence does not mean just bringing myself, but also being present to everything that's going on in that 60 minutes or 90 minutes or whatever we have contracted for, right? So much is happening there in that session. So also being aware of in that. So if you look at the definition itself, right? So I'll just kind of paste the definition in chat because we'll quickly refer to it. So the definition goes as is fully conscious and present with the client, employing a style that is open, flexible, grounded, and confident. Pretty simple definition, but I feel each word has so much depth. Just look at the word is. What do we say something is? When we say that, it means it just exists. Something happening to it. There's no future, there's no past, it just is there. So is fully, what does fully mean? A coach brings their whole self, mentally, physically, emotionally. So it's not about, one aspect that I'm physically there with you, but my mind is somewhere else, or I'm getting affected by those emotions which are going on, something which the client is transferring to me, but I am fully present. So in all aspects, the whole self, and fully conscious. So what does conscious mean here? So the thing which I talked about, what's going on between the client and the coach, am I aware of that? Right? I'm not looking at processing. So conscious here does not mean analyzing it. does not mean interpreting it, does not mean coming up with some assumptions or what could be going on. So there's no thinking involved. Conscious here just means being aware, just acknowledging that something is going on there, something is being said, something is being expressed through words, through the body language, through gestures, all of that. Something is being expressed there, being conscious to it. So fully conscious and present. So why should they put present again when the competence itself is about maintains presence, right? So present is about the space and time. Are we in the here and now? Right? It's something which is going on. For example, now we are talking to each other, right? Am I here fully in this moment, or am I thinking of what should I say next? Or am I thinking of what should I be careful of so that this recording goes well? I have to be in that space fully in this moment and in this space. So present is about this time, this moment. And the thought that at this moment there is nowhere else I would rather be. And the person sitting in front of me is the most important person at this moment. That's being present, right? So we talk about unconditional positive regard. What better regard than this? That I respect that person fully in this moment. So present with the client, and then says employing a style. It doesn't say employing this style. So there is no standard style. It's your style. Employing a style. What uniqueness you bring as a coach? What is your style? What are you bringing in? That's the whole self, right? If there was a standardized template of doing something, of bringing in a style, then it will not be your whole self. So it says employing a style, your style that is open. So what does being open mean here, right? Transparency. We have agreed to do something together. We have set some boundaries. We have talked about how much time we are going to work with. We are also saying that what is possible, what is not possible. That is openness. So everything is there on the table, right? Flexible, because things can change. So there's no rigidity. The context can change, the goal can change, the client situation can change, something new might arise. So we are flexible. We are open to what may change and therefore flow along with it. That's what we call, the dancing in the moment. The tune changes, the dance changes, right? Flexible. And then we talk about grounded. What is grounding here? Being comfortable with not knowing. That's grounding, right? I'm absolutely starting from zero. I don't know what's going to come up in the session. So asking, being curious. Grounding also means that I am aware that we are adult to adult conversation. So we are starting and maintaining that sense of equality in some way. That is also balance. And if there is any instance where there could be one up, one down kind of thing, how quickly I come back to that sense of balance and that groundedness. And then finally, confident. Confident in my own ability as a coach. That I will do a good job and I can do a good job because I've gone through that kind of training, that kind of knowledge and that kind of practice, but also confident in the client that they have the ability to come up with, they are complete and they can come up with the solutions which they want, right? So if you look at this whole definition and look at various parts of it, it's so much which talks about it. So it looks overwhelming, right? Are we supposed to take care of so much? And the secret of all of this lies in basically not doing anything. Because this competency specifically maintains presence is not about any doing. It's about just being there, right? And allowing things to happen. Now that's the difficult part because we are so used to doing. We want to do something, right? That's what we are brought up, that kind of conditioning that we can't stay away from doing. So what takes away the presence is the doing part. The interference which comes from us because we are looking at analyzing what client might mean. So instead of asking the client, I am thinking what they might be meaning. I'm also getting biased by things which have happened to me. I am getting drawn into the client stories because there could be some experiences I relate to, some problems which I am facing. So all of this is happening there, right? I'm also getting interference from the client themselves because they are throwing their emotions at me. And that can also disturb me. It's like throwing a pebble in a place with water, right? And it creates those ripples. So I'm getting that also, which is happening. And then there is so much which is happening because there's a pressure on me as a coach. Where are we going with this conversation? Will we reach somewhere? Is it my responsibility to deliver something for the client? Is it my job to help them achieve their goal? All of this is going on, and therefore it pushes us into some activity, right? So I'll stop here. It's about, I think I've spent about 12 minutes, 10, 12 minutes. If there is any question, we can take up maybe one or two and then just jump into.
Thank you, Mani. Priya is here. Today we also have with us Miss Priya Sundaram. Priya, would you like to add anything else to what Mani just beautifully described as maintaining presence?
Thank you, Shweta. I joined in a little couple of minutes late. So I think I happened to hear from the middle of what Mani was sharing. I think he has covered everything, in terms of what presence is and what ICF says about it. The only thing that kept coming for me is I think we all do a great job when we are experiencing something for the first time, or when we are facing some kind of an adversity or some high emotional stakes in it or whatever. So this presence is not something foreign to us. Intermittently, I think very naturally we can experience this, and we are experiencing it. And in the coaching context, I think it's a lot about removing the excess of what needs to be done. Am I showing up? So it's a lot of that thinking and what I'm supposed to be doing in this context. So if somehow we can dial down those excess of our own thought processes, and like Mani said, the biases, or our own material, what the client is saying, the stories, the context, if we can dial that down and just be our natural self, I think we can be doing a great justice of being present to the client. That's the only add on.
That's a great point. In fact, I just want to add one more thing from what Priya said. And, being present is something which we have to try in our lives daily. That's the only way we can be present in a coaching session also, because we don't have any on-off switch. We can't just become present in a coaching session and not be present in other spaces. So if we can slowly incorporate presence in everything we do. So when you're reading a book, when you're writing something, when you're having food, when you're taking bath, brushing your teeth, can we be present? Can we be in the here and now? I mean, that's a very gradual process. And if we can do that, I think that will be the wonderful space we can create every time we talk to someone.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. So we are actually at 17 minutes, and we are going to be going into breakout rooms where we would request both of you to be mentoring everybody present here today. So instead of question and answers right now, is there anything that in the little time we have, while Sonia, could we do the breakout rooms, please, in the meantime? Would you like everyone present here today to focus on something in terms of presence, like give a tip or something where they can, just be more present? Like Priya said, be naturally present. There was so much you shared, Mani. What is it that you would guide us today to do to be present in today's coaching session?
I think what Priya said is the best advice. Just see if you can let go. As if people say dance as if no one is watching you. Can you do that? Just do that coaching session, forgetting about who is, watching you, who's mentoring. Just do that as you would do talking to a friend, conversation, deep conversation.
Awesome. Guys, any questions on that one? What Mani just said. Let it go, or let go, sorry. Let go, dance in the moment, and maybe just dance as if no one's watching. So if we do that today, what are the kind of things that could show up for all of us in our sessions today?